Hello Dirtfish Rally friends, it's the end of Friday, the end of day one proper here at Rally Estonia, and what a day we have had out in the stages, David Evans. It's delivered again, hasn't it, in terms of competition, in terms of drama?
It absolutely has, Cole, on every level. The competition's been superb. Not necessarily who you'd expect it to be at the front, Thierry Neuville, Teemu Sunninen right up there, Pierre-Louis Loubet on one stage third. Yeah, it's great, and it's ultimately though you look at the end of the day and you think, Oi, Tänak, if only.
If only. Oi, Tänak, if you're just joining us, and where have you been if you are? Oi, Tänak started this event with a 5-minute penalty. They swapped his engine over after shakedown. It's an automatic 5-minute penalty, but he's gone out. We've had 8 stages of the rally, David. He's won 6 of those 8 stages. Take out the 5 minutes, he leads by around about 12 seconds. He doesn't, he's well down the standings. We look for positives in every situation.
He's not too far down the standings. Was he back up to 11th or something?
He thinks he can catch the fastest of our Rally 2 cars, which is Andreas Mikkelsen.
But I did some research.
Oh.
The last 2 events, the last 2 Estonias, 5 minutes behind the leader has generally been around 5th, 6th, 7th. Something like that. Oh, yeah,
Really?
Because we've had retirements and there will be retirements. Of course, there will be other drivers. Although, having said that, this is not, mechanically, this is not a hard event.
No.
Here in Finland, it used to always be New Zealand as well. It's really sympathetic. You know, you don't get big rocks, things like that. But
we've seen mistakes in the past, and that's accounted for drivers in the top category, hasn't it?
It has, but I think the thing with Tänak today is that he has just, we talked about this earlier, he's opened his shoulders, he's got nothing to lose. Just get on with it.
Yeah. Listen, we did catch up with Oit earlier on because we put to Oit the question, David put the question, look, this looks like it might be the last Rally Estonia. These were Oit's really reflective thoughts.
I can't give any more than I've been giving now, and then obviously there is not much more coming, but the support has been incredible for sure. So I would say by now, after a few years, Rally Estonia has been in the calendar. It's definitely one of the coolest rally in the calendar. So I would say promoter needs to be really stupid if they want to put this one out. So.
You can't argue with anything that Tänak says there.
We came here for the first time in 2020. This is perhaps something we should talk about on Sunday, but we've got to talk about this now, just very briefly. I wasn't sure about Estonia 20. You know, we'd seen that promotional event do really well, but was it ready? You know, and was it ready to come back straight after or in the middle of COVID?
First event in the middle of COVID.
Irma Arva and his team, unbelievable job. You know, massive respect. And I always enjoyed Estonia. You know, I have great relations with Marco Martin and with Oit and people and the Estonian people. Yeah. And I loved coming here, and I do love coming here. And it's just, you know, for me, it's become one of the absolute best. You can't argue with what Oit said.
I would totally agree. And you know what? They weren't just the first event back after COVID. They wrote the blueprint for how to run a rally during COVID. And we can thank the organisers here for actually having as many rallies as we got in during COVID.
100%.
A lot of what was done in that period was down to the hard work that the organisers of this event put in initially to establish the protocols and to work out just how we could keep on rallying. So, you can understand.
Still got 2 days here, though.
Still got 2 days. Let's enjoy those 2 days. Let's talk about the battle at the front, because it has been really, really interesting. We saw, obviously, this morning, Thierry Neuville making the most of those changes to the car, David, making the most of a slight advantage in terms of road position, leading the rally at lunchtime. He didn't struggle this afternoon, but Rovanperä came into his own this afternoon. A wonderful battle between those two.
Absolutely. I think the thing that we're seeing is Thierry is feeling more and more comfortable. He's talked about the progression in suspension, developments and settings and everything. And his just general feeling of comfort in the car is now ahead of where it's ever been, I would say, in a Hyundai on a fast rally.
Yeah.
I think the issue that he now faces a little bit is that as we're seeing some ruts coming on the second pass, that's where he's struggling. That, ironically, is where he's saying they've made the gains. But also, that is where you, as a driver, you really feel, if you're on top of the car, if you're driving the car through those lots, like Jari Matti's just told us, you've got to take that speed, carry that speed, and commit to the rut to make it work. You know, that's what Calle's doing. Yeah. And perhaps that's where Thierry's not just quite there.
Rovanperä, as we all know, is a very, very special talent. And, you know,
but he's 3 seconds away.
3 seconds away, but unless he's having an off day, let's face it, David, let's face reality. Unless Rovanperä has an off day, no one can match him. Unless he has an off day and he makes a mistake, or he's...
You'd say realistic, but I was.
A bit negative, you are right, though. You are right.
You know, as a driver, when you're 3 seconds behind, you know, Thierry is fantastic. He's great, and you know, he says it as it is. But I just wonder if, you know, maybe he's playing with us. Maybe there's some tactics in there, and of course there is. You know, he's not going to come to us and say, right, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Look at this. This is my plan for the rest of the rally. That's where I'm going to go into first place. He's going to say, I'll give it a go, but. You know, what did he say? I'll keep the pressure on.
Wow.
So maybe we should listen to instead of us
paraphrasing. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Before we hear from Thierry Neuville, let's hear from our rally leader, because he really has had an exceptional day. Rovanperä from first on the road has a slender 3-second lead to take into day 2.
It was a proper struggle the whole day, but I think, yeah, I can be happy. We didn't really have any mistakes, just one wide place on the last stage of the day, so comparing to how much we pushed the whole day, it was a good effort.
How much are you having to adjust the car, though, to take into account the different conditions out there? Is the car more or less as you want it? Are you having to make adjustments for the different conditions?
The car is quite good. I think I've been struggling a bit the whole weekend with like I said before, when we try to maximize the traction and grip, we are always a bit too lazy with the car and not precise. So definitely that's the biggest complaint. For sure the car is working well, but it's not perfect.
It does look and sound incredibly relaxed, doesn't it? It's wonderful to see. Tell you what we'll do now, though. Let's hear from Thierry Neuville.
Of course, we would have preferred to defend the position, but Kalle was very fast. It wasn't a surprise either for us, to be honest. So we had a decent run through the afternoon. Couple of corners and jumps where maybe I should have taken a bit more speed. But at the end, we were in a good position. We didn't expect to be there, so I think for the kind of circumstances in the rally we are, I need to be happy.
Dirtfish Live Center.
But what is Dirtfish Live Center? New for 2023, Dirtfish Live Center has been warmly received by rally fans all over the world. Why?
For one reason, it brings you right here, right to the heart of the action.
Head to dirtfish.com, click on Live Center, and follow the rally second by second. Enjoy exclusive behind-the-scenes photos, videos, and analysis. What are you waiting for? Want to get involved? Simply enter your name and leave a comment. No sign-ups or logins required.
Catch all the action on Dirtfish Live Center.
Oh yes, we're in for a treat tomorrow, folks, aren't we? Those two battling out at the front, that 3-second...
Those 4?
2 at the front, and we're going to now talk about the next 2 to make it 4.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about 4 yet.
We haven't talked about 3 yet.
2 and 2 make 4. So who are the other 2 that we're talking about? Well, we are talking about Esa-Pekka Lappi, who sits in 3rd place, and Elfyn Evans, who sits in 4th place. Again, the slenderest of margins between those 2. Lappi has fought back this afternoon. He's passed Elfyn in the stages. Issues this morning, David, and again, am I being a bit harsh with compact dynamics? So 1 kilometre into the opening stage, goes over a jump, the hybrid goes, it compromises the chance he's got of fighting for the lead in that.
No, there is a failure in the car. So fundamentally, you've got to look at where that failure comes from. We spoke to Cyril Abiteboul and he said, hands up, there is some issues with the installation. So, okay, it's somewhere in the middle of that is an issue. So you would have to say between Hyundai and between Compact Dynamics, they should have it right by now.
Yeah, and there is an issue to resolve there. But, you know, forget that. The man who very much had it right was Esa-Pekka Lappi. In the form of his life, really, really good to see him and hear him at the end of the stages. He's not let those issues compromise his mental approach at all, has he? He's not beating himself up.
He doesn't generally, does he?
It's quite a cool breeze that, wasn't it? I could see the wee shoulders going up against the wind there.
He's not a driver that does. He gets on with stuff.
He has been in the past, David. He's been very, very hard on himself in the past.
He's been hard on himself, but I don't think it impacts on his performance.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it does. But regardless, it's been a sensational job from him. Potentially, would it be cheeky to say you'd expect him, okay, with the hybrid issues this morning, but should he be ahead of Thierry? You know, given the form that he's driven in, given the place that we're at with the car, with where we are, the nature of the roads, I don't know.
I think he would have been without the issues this morning. I think he would have been. But but at the end of the day, that doesn't matter because we know Neuville will finish. If things are more or less equal, he will finish ahead of Lappi. But This is what Lappi told us just over there in the media zone a little while ago. Take out the issues this morning and you're right up at the top fighting for the win potentially. That is still possible with the form you've shown today.
Well, yeah, but we also need to understand that Kalle will have the same starting position tomorrow, so he will kill everyone. So, but second position is possible.
And what is it that you've changed over the last few rallies that's giving you that confidence?
Suspension and geometry.
As simple as that.
It's not simple, for sure. It's not simple, but we made it. Yeah, we found the direction where to go, and we made more that direction. So this is the steps, and for sure the damper is, we've developed that a lot.
Welcome to Dirtfish, where we'll teach you how to do this and this, and all you have to do is click this link. We'll see you soon.
So yeah, let's hope for a clean day tomorrow for Esa-Pekka Lappi, because he's got some work to do to stay ahead of Elfyn Evans. Quick word for Elfyn, again not comfortable, a diff change at lunchtime, David, always searching for that ultimate feeling.
Yeah, struggling with some understeer from the car, and it is surprising to see quite such a big setup change in terms of transmission coming so early in the rally. Maybe the conditions haven't played out, they expected it to be wetter, I don't know. You talked about this with Jari-Matti, it's a big step to change the diff. You know, you could work with roll bars and with the geometry and a bit more other stuff, but clearly Elfyn felt, no, you know, we need to take that step, and we'll see through the weekend if he's made the right move, if it gives him that confidence. Definitely it is the right move. The last thing a driver wants, with, you know, at these speeds, when you're doing 160 kph and you turn in, you don't want any understeer.
Absolutely, Elfyn with a job to do out there tomorrow. But, David, you know, the performance of the day, perhaps from Teemu Sunninen, would you say, 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, just behind us in the final media zone, was one of the worst moments of my life in terms of interviewing, because I asked him a question, Teemu Sunninen, and he left in tears. He was broken. He was a
You broke him.
Broke himself, let's be fair about it.
No, you broke him.
But he was in tears. Look at him now. It's a glorious return.
If I was him, I wouldn't speak to you.
He does speak to me, thank goodness. Yeah, great job, Teemu Sunninen. We've
He has
really
done a great job, because
watching.
still, we talked a lot with Elfyn about this at Goodwood last week, and is it instinctive to drive these cars yet? And Elfyn said, maybe still not, and I'm not sure it's still instinctive. And somewhere like here, it needs to be instinctive because everything's happening so quickly. So that, it gives even more context to what Teemu's doing.
Yeah.
Great day.
And ahead, well ahead, of both Katsuta-san and Pierre-Louis Loubet. Pierre-Louis Loubet can take positives from today. It's been a clean day, third quickest through the penultimate stage. I think he had a third for fourth quickest early on in the day as well. Positive day for him. Taka-san seems to have struggled though, David, more than maybe we would have expected him to.
Struggled in the ruts this afternoon, hasn't he? Which is understandable. It's difficult at this speed. Talking a lot about the speed. It's one of the fastest rallies of the season.
In terms of our support class, WRC2, really once again a great field, great competition. Bad luck for Oliver Solberg out there today. We don't quite know what's happened, but he, I think, on the first stage out after service this afternoon, he had an issue and was left at the side of the road. The man who's driven a very intelligent day to lead WRC2, as you would expect, David.
As he did in Sardinia as well.
As he did in Sardinia.
Genuine great experience and shown great pace as well today.
Yeah, he'll be looking at Teemu Sunninen in that Rally 1 car thinking, will he? Will he be thinking?
Oh, of course he will. This time last year, he'd got to deal with them, hadn't he? Let's not forget that. So, and Andreas is just doing exactly what he needs to do. He's keeping his name up there.
What a day it's been. We've enjoyed our day one here. We got wet at one point. The rain, David, that rain when it came down, biblical. It's an overused word, but would you say?
I would say so.
Quite remarkable.
Absolutely.
Let's see what the weather holds for us tomorrow. Don't forget, folks, if you've missed anything, if anything that maybe David and I have talked about today has piqued your interest,
all of it
going on out there,
would have piqued everybody's interest. Surely.
And you're thinking, I want a bit more information about that. There's the button, just up there, press it. That will take you through to Dirtfish Live Centre. Scroll through and just have a look and find out what went on. Some lovely photos, some great videos, some analysis. Folks, as always, wonderful having you along with us for the ride here in Estonia today. We'll see you all again tomorrow for day 2 of Rally Estonia.